All right, folks, welcome back to Star 9 Alabama Weather Studio. My name is Nicholas Driver, and we are back live for now a severe thunderstorm warning that replaced that tornado warning. I will explain here shortly after I talk about the ongoing warnings in effect of what happened, and we'll get a little bit into it here shortly. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a tornado warning get issued for Waterloo. So if you have family out there in Waterloo, let them know that hey, a tornado warning is definitely possible for the for your area. But let me get this back and available because I have to do this just about every single time. Is reset up the stream when I don't when I'm not live, if you will. Alright, so if you're just now tuning in, as always, my name's Nicholas Driver. We appreciate you for trusting us here at the Star 9 Alabama studio. We were live previously for a bunch of tornado warnings that were issued just for the northwestern parts of Lauderdale County. Those tornado warnings have since been expired, and now we continue with a severe thunderstorm warning that we are briefly going to talk about. So this severe thunderstorm warning is for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and it will be allowed to expire around 6:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time for nickel-sized hail. Now that I am back, I will slightly explain to you what we just had happen to that gusty thunderstorm that I was talking about earlier, that one that was moving down towards Trinity, Decatur. That specific thunderstorm that specific thunderstorm created wind gusts up to 30 and 45 miles per hour. That knocked over trash cans and a couple limbs back in my backyard, blew some things over towards my shed, and caused some cosmetic damage to a couple things. But overall, nothing big concerning. But again, main threats right now, main focus is this storm out here towards Burnsville, Iuka, Waterloo. Folks out there, you need to be seeking shelter now. Again, I'm going to mention this quite briefly as it's not severe warned or special weather statement, anything strong really, but out there towards Elkmont, Ardmore, Hazel Green, Meaderineville, and out there towards Newmarket, this storm has potential of carrying 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts, pea-sized hail, potentially closer to penny-sized hail, and frequent lightning. It definitely upticked as it moved closer to here, and those winds really picked up in some, if you will, strength. But now we are tracking this new severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that has been issued for portions of northwestern Colbert and parts of western counties of Lauderdale. And to answer Mr. Scott Robertson's question, what do we got heading towards Madison? Right now, the only shower thunderstorm that we have towards Madison has moved north. Might be raining at least moderately over Madison County right now, but the strongest of it has moved north of you. Now, you do have these stronger storms expected later tonight as we speak. And this entire line, which is pretty much completely tornado warned at this point, is going to be pushing into northwestern Alabama very, very soon, causing issues. And as it pushes east, the more it will start to dwindle down. So I will mention a tornado watch was just issued for portions of, let's see, I know there's a lot of ums in between my wording here, and I do apologize. But we did just have a tornado watch issued for our coverage area. So I want to make a post on it so everybody is aware, and we'll talk about it on the live stream. Alright, bear with me here. and I believe I just watched the lights flicker as I was making this post. That being said, frequent lightning does continue with our current storm, and for those that are just now tuning in, do apologize for the wonderful silence there. We are again covering. Okay, there we go. So we did just get a special weather statement. Thank you. So special weather statement has been issued for Tony and Hazel Green until, let's see, until within the next 48 minutes, so about closer to 9 o'clock here as we speak. That is when that special weather statement is going to be allowed to expire. Again, we also had damaging wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour as we speak across here in northwestern Alabama, or north central Alabama, if you will. Some tree limbs and garbage cans were blown over, but that was just about it. And hopefully it doesn't cause any other damages across the area. So that severe thunderstorm warning does continue for, again, Waterloo, Gravelly Springs, Cloverdale, until, I believe I said about 9:30, correct? But this does have tornado potential. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see a tornado warning here shortly. If this rotation here continues to strengthen, get issued for those areas of Waterloo and Gravelly Springs. But right now, that rotation that I'm watching is very, very broad, and it may not require a tornado warning to get issued. But just a heads up there, I would be preparing to seek shelter if you are if you are residents in Rivertown, Waterloo, Wright, Gravelly Springs, Stewartville, Treat, Dart, and Murphy's Crossroads over there in Colbert and Lauderdale counties. And so we do continue to have tornado warnings out here towards New Albany and Pontotoc near Tupelo as we speak. These storms are moving. What was that for? Yeah, these storms are moving northeast still. So as this pushes east, we're basically having storms move like this. They're moving northeast at a slow and steady rate. So flash flooding is going to be a large issue throughout tonight, unfortunately. But overall, that tornado watch was issued. And so now we are going to be doing wall-to-wall coverage through the night. And now that I've got it posted, I'm sorry that things are choppy here just a moment, but tornado watch has been issued until 3 a.m. p.m. Central Daylight Time, so that's early Sunday morning. This being said, please be sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings tonight, not just by phone, but have a weather radio if you have one ready to go off so you can hear it and so you could heed shelter. Know every time a warning gets issued west or heading towards you, don't ignore it. Don't just turn off the weather radio because you're trying to get your beauty sleep. You need to wake up when that weather radio goes off so you can go and run to a shelter. I understand tomorrow is Sunday. Many folks will be waking up to go to church tomorrow, and unfortunately it's just going to be a long night of just keeping an eye on the radar. That being said, I want you to be as prepared as possible. Go ahead and prepare that shelter if you haven't already, and clean out that shelter as soon as possible. Put your important items, maybe some important documentations, medicines, some files, some papers, and that's documentation. Let's say foods, important non-perishable foods, put it into that shelter. Bring you a flashlight, bring you a weather radio, and of course bring us with you to keep you covered. But a few tornadoes are possible to likely tonight across, and that's a wording and a half, across northwestern and north central Alabama. Isolated hail up to ping pong ball size hail. That's about this big here. So about this big. And scattered gusts up to 75 miles per hour. Likely. Man, so we've said enough on that. And of course, I would like to thank Ian Malicote. He is our radar tech for joining in the live stream. I believe Ian was out chasing all night last night. On that severe weather threat across Arkansas. So definitely go give Storm Tracker Ian Malicote a follow on Facebook to keep you posted. see what else is going on here. So that special weather statement storm, which I forgot to post about, now it's moving out of the area, so I'm not going to worry about it, is moving in between Elkwood, New Sharon, and Hazel Green. Pea-sized hail, or up to nickel-sized hail. Actually, let's see. Penny-sized, there we are. Penny-sized hail, 40-mile-per-hour wind gust is falling with it. That's moving northeast rather quickly. These are what you would call prefrontal supercells, but they're not exactly supercells. They're not rotating. They're not producing a tornado. And thankfully, but those are moving northeast. That left a quick rain shower across much of, I would say, this has tracked all the way from Marion. Actually, this came from Jasper. I don't know what exact county that is, and it pushed northeast through Coleman and Morgan, Limestone, Lawrence, just all those areas, and now it's finally pushing east. And that being said, that gives enough room for us to see the main threat tonight. That's what we got the tornado watch for, which is these multiple tornado warnings in effect. That tornado potential will move east as the night goes on. The storm threat, this cold front's moving extremely slow, so we're going to have issues with it moving into, the coverage area. So we kind of seen, we always look at an area on radar called the hook echo. And sometimes that shows up with cells that are very isolated in nature. This one's it's isolated, sort of. Actually, honestly, it really is isolated. It's congealed into multiple parts of a line, and this is why our tornado threat's a lot higher tonight. But it's still there, and you can see that hook echo. It's almost stationary right now. It comes out just a little bit, and then it colludes into that thunderstorm. It really it routes back into itself, if you will. I'm trying to explain that in an easier, understandable way. But see, now we're having a new hook develop just south of Iuka. We're going to closely watch this area to see if provident rotation could develop. Right now, the rotation's not significant, and what I wish my radar could provide here, and we're going to test that, is to see rotation detection, which I do believe we have. Vertically integrated, and that means hail. That tells us our hail. So let's see. I'm learning something here real quick. Hold on. This is a learning process for me. Alright. So, I'm learning a couple things with the radar here that I did not know of as we speak, which is fun, because I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect in the meteorological field, if you will. So this gives us a better idea. This will give me a better way to explain things here. But I'm going to have to go deeper research because we're doing live coverage. I'm not going to specifically get into it, honestly, until afterwards, because I would hate to talk. Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So this is our wind shear. This is in the upper atmosphere. This is basically the rotation detector. And so we do have a few areas of potential broad rotation being detected just north of Iuka and north of Waterloo as well. That is going to continue northeast, and that will potentially cause issues kind of moving into, again, northwestern parts of Colbert and western parts of Lauderdale County here soon. So that's exactly what I was looking for. I'm glad that I was able to find it midstream, so that's perfect. Let's see here. Alright, so now we can close that out. So like I mentioned to you earlier, just to briefly go back on the storm that's now moving out of our coverage area, thankfully. This storm gave me a pretty good scare because We had the end live stream short due to this storm pushing in. It had wind gusts up to 30 and 40 miles per hour potentially, and frequent lightning, of course, some hail, I believe, as well. That a really big gust of wind blew in and pushed a trash can and a bunch of limbs off the tree over here towards my shed, or my studio. I do have a studio as a shed. Would you look there? Um, and it just threw a bunch of stuff onto the building here. So that was a spooky situation, but it's since moved out. It's moving into, I believe that's Giles County. I think that's right, Giles County, Fayetteville, in Tennessee. So if you got folks out there, keep them aware of the strong storm, but not severe. It is definitely not severe. Huh. So it does look like our CEO of Star 9 Alabama is also having severe weather up there in Maryland. We got some odd weather this year. It's I mean, if you have folks living out there towards Westminster, Hampstead, yes, Hampstead, Manchester, Boring, out there towards Maryland, go ahead and go give the TMC Weather Center a check out. That's where Tanner Ciro is based out in. He does have a tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning out there. So if you got folks that are needing coverage, and I mean pristine coverage, Tanner Ciro has got you covered up there in Maryland. Now closer to home, we continue with that severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and I'm closely monitoring these other tornado. Excuse me, these other thunderstorms capable of producing a tornado as they move northeast. I think what I'm going to do, if this severe thunderstorm warning is allowed to expire, and this tornado warning around here is allowed to expire, what we'll probably do is quickly end the stream, give us a brief minute, so we're not, stressed out, if you will, doing live coverage. And we might try to get our radar techs, our wonderful radar tech Ian Malicote, to join us within the next live stream tonight, because we're going to be up late, and unfortunately this event's just going to be traveling into the early morning hours Sunday, especially if you live east of I-65. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make a timing like I wanted to, but that is all right. Let's see here. I'm just checking up on a few things, and we'll continue talking our mouth off here. So, right now the good thing is, and a lot of these showers and thunderstorms that are producing these tornadoes are actually broken pieces of the line. So the line is looking a little different than some of the models we're depicting, giving them more of a isolated feel to them. So QLCS almost. And unfortunately, this is not one thing that we would like to see, because supercell development, we get these little kinks in the line, you get these little let me try to find an example and I'll show you. And one thing I would love to do is teach people about the radar. This is one reason why. If there's somebody not live and maybe you not trust that company, you can know for yourself. Pull up that radar app on your phone, specifically Radar Omega, Radar Scope. Those are wonderful radars to use. And you're like, okay, I remember so-and-so telling me this is how this starts to develop. And you can become your own forecaster at home. And that is one thing that many people need. People need knowledge when it comes to severe thunderstorms, because most people are just used to getting a tornado warning and saying that it's nothing. Sometimes that could, as I've heard James Spann and other people say, that one tornado could be your April 27th, 2011. So, again, I like to teach people how to read radar the best opportunity as I can. We're all learning. I'm learning even. So, it's not always going to be perfect, but we'll go straight into it. So this right here, you can see this almost like what we would call a dangly bit. right here, just hanging off of this. This is kind of a supercell on its own, although it's got some other cells around it. More of a multicellular supercell. That means multiple cells around it. So this could start rotating and causing issues if it's allowed to kind of bow out in front of itself, or uh, almost turn into a little upside down C. That's where we could see that tornado potential. This is what you call a hook echo. And see, this is what we're watching very closely, is for stuff like that. Thankfully, the line is kind of catching up with these little kinks or not kinks, but if you will, little hooks in front of it, and it's allowing them to merge into just a large rain shower. But what we did just see is the tornado warning here expire, thankfully. So we do not have a tornado warning for Burnsville, Corinth, Iuka, and anywhere near Waterloo anymore. But this current storm that's producing potential rotation continues to move east. We're going to watch to see if they do issue a new tornado warning or if it goes into a severe thunderstorm warning. And to me, looks like we're going to see a new tornado warning that is going to go from here, just north of Tupelo, and may stretch northeast. A little bit farther northeast, I believe, because, and I'll point it out real quickly here, we got a really tight couplet showing up here. You got your reds and greens pretty much right next to each other, and that's where your tornado is going to be, right in this area. And speaking of that new tornado warning, it does look like it was issued once again. That does include Tupelo. Now, Tupelo, if you are out there, let's see. You may get clipped by this bottom shower here that could have that tornado potential, which I could see why they extended that tornado warning down there. But other than that, I would be seeking shelter. If you have family in Tupelo, go ahead and tell them to seek shelter. If you got family out there towards Saltillo, Guntown, Baldwin, Marietta, Booneville, these areas have already been in tornado warning this evening and multiple times before. Seek shelter now. This is not a false alarm. This is just a new tornado warning. You need to stay in your safe place until it leaves. And I cannot stress that enough. And this will eventually track into Winston, Lauderdale, and Winston County is here, if you're not aware. Know your counties. Know your counties. That is the most important thing. This is Winston County, so folks that live in Red Bay, Russellville, Phil Campbell, anywhere near Highway, County Road 24, Highway 43 going up into Muscle Shoals. This is Colbert County here, where Muscle Shoals is at in Cherokee. And then Lauderdale County is where Florence is located in. So, again, know your counties. Most importantly, we could see a new tornado warning get extended later tonight into portions of, again, Colbert and Lauderdale County. We love those counties. That is the most counties I've ever seen get issued under tornado warnings each and every year, is those there. So special weather statement over Hazel Green and Marineville, that will continue, but overall you're pretty much safe over those areas for now. It wouldn't surprise me within the next couple of hours to see another severe weather threat push into the area here soon, if you will. And I'm going to go ahead and reintroduce myself for the newer viewers that are just now tuning in. My name is Nicholas Driver. We're here at the Star 9 Alabama Weather Studio to keep you weather aware on the severe weather threat that's expected tonight. Tornado watch is in effect until 3 a.m. earlier Sunday morning, which is very unfortunate for myself and many of you, because that means we're going to be hitting a late nighter tonight. I know many people have church tomorrow, so just please do try to get as much rest as you can, but have ways to receive warnings. Again, like I mentioned earlier, have many ways of receiving warnings tonight as possible, because that is the most important thing, and I cannot stress it enough, folks. I wish there was better radars out here, honestly. There's terrible radar coverage when it comes to northwestern Lauderdale County. Just to mention here, that just came to my mind. Flooding threat is going to be a large issue throughout this entire broad area as these storms just kind of move very slow, and this is a stationary front almost, and they're just moving over the same areas very slowly. Um, that's going to be allowing for later storm arrival and allowing for multiple different areas of severe weather to track over the same area, heavy rainfall, which will add to flash flooding. There we are. Looking for words tonight. My folks, let me rephrase that. My viewers out there towards Waterloo, Gravelly Springs, Cloverdale, this line of this little dangly bit's what I'm going to call it here, could be potentially producing up to 60 mile per hour wind gust. And just looking on the newer scans here, some very broad rotation could be ongoing just south of Waterloo and just north of it. So we'll have to watch that closely, but it's definitely not strong, definitely not something that could produce a tornado right now. And as we can tell, not tornado warning worthy, but just to keep an eye on you folks out there, be prepared to seek shelter just in case the rotation upticks here near Waterloo, specifically east of it. Now, if you're traveling near Waterloo or let me rephrase, if you are a current resident in Waterloo, you're likely hearing some heavier rainfall, maybe some frequent lightning ongoing here. That is as that storm pushes east, Gravelly Springs, Cloverdale, and Cypress Inn. You will be next in line of this thunderstorm. How fast is this moving? 35 miles per hour. So we're still getting some quick moving storms, but it's rather slow. And let's see here. Alright, I was just answering a few questions that was being asked via the wonderful Malakote weather team. Again, if you are looking for worldwide national coverage, if you're tuning in from a different state, different area, and you're looking for more national coverage, the Malakote weather team is the best place to go, owned by Storm Tracker Ian Malakote. You could also check out his page on Facebook. Wonderful team, great people. They will keep you weather aware at the most. And that's interesting. So as we look farther out towards the nation, if you will, we got one severe thunderstorm warning in Maryland, one in Louisiana, one tornado warning in Louisiana, and then closer to home, 2 tornado warnings and 1 severe thunderstorm warning out here in northwestern parts of Alabama. And that's why we're live, to kind of keep coverage. And I was going to drop the live stream, but genuinely I don't feel comfortable with doing that just yet. This storm is specifically moving east now. So that would likely include Winston, Colbert, and Lauderdale County in a potential tornado warning, if not a severe thunderstorm warning, with a tornado possible tag on it. We got multiple storm chasers near Guntown, Mississippi. So this specific rotating thunderstorm is actually moving, tracking northeast. I would say slightly more north, though. Ignore this random line that I drew here. So this rotating part of the thunderstorm is heading towards Cherokee. I don't know why they issued this weird tornado warning, but yes, this storm does track into portions of Cherokee and Waterloo. So folks out there in Cherokee, Waterloo, and closer to Florence, Muscle Shoals, Red Bay, go ahead and be prepared to seek shelter this evening ahead of the severe weather threat as this pushes east, because this will likely be a long tracker as it moves east into the coverage area. and I was just reading a little bit of a post from our sister stations, or uh, just our stations out here in North Alabama here. This is from meteorologist Danielle Dozier. New tornado watch, and of course, when we do double boxes with the basketball game and weather, you will have to tune to CBS for weather coverage as we cannot stream basketball. Thank you. So if you are more fond of Way 30 or more, if you're a big favor to Way 31 and WHNT News 19, all beans go out there and check them out and watch them. But just keep in mind, if you're watching a basketball game, that is the least priority. I know folks out there that love sports, but that should be your least priority. I believe your safety or your family's safety should be the biggest priority for you out here in northwestern Alabama. So if we have severe weather coverage across the region, you need to just stay tuned in. And this is why we don't do any type of TV station stuff. This is an ad-free Facebook live stream. This gives you on and on and on coverage throughout the evening. Alright, so I want to go back to our severe thunderstorm warning out here in Waterloo. These storms are moving extremely slow. 35 miles per hour may sound fast, but they're not moving that fast and not really budging. So heavy rainfalls and flash flooding may be a concern, again, over Waterloo and east of there. But a severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time continues over parts of northwestern Colbert and western Lauderdale County. That is going to be for 60 mile per hour wind gust and closer to quarter size hail. That is likely falling with this thunderstorm. This severe thunderstorm, I should say. There could be some areas here, especially northeast of Waterloo, that is rotating. So, let's see here. If you are a resident near Dart or Murphy Crossroads, keep in mind that there is potentially some broad rotation showing up. Not completely significant, but that is an area that I'm closely monitoring. So near Dart and Murphy Crossroads. That while that could be noise, I'm not going to guarantee it. And I want you folks out there to be heeded that. Be aware of that, if you will. And I don't understand why this is acting slow today. There it is. So I love to use what we call GR2 analyst, which usually it'll have like little indicators showing up within the storm that tells you if that storm has some broad rotation showing up. I'll have that on this stream or on the right hand side so I can easier show y'all, better explain it to y'all if you will. But mainly damaging winds and smaller hail is ongoing out here towards Gravelly Springs and Cloverdale, so keep that in mind. And I'm really, really concerned with the supercell south of Baldwin now. It's got that really strong hook echo that's showing up on radar. This one, again, is moving northeast. Come on, draw a better line. It's moving northeast. It may track into portions of, again, Lauderdale and Colbert counties within the next several hours. These are counties that we mention a lot, just too many times to keep in to remember, if you will. So unfortunately, same areas over and over and over. Don't get to the point where, okay, tornado warning has been issued 3 different times and nothing happened. Don't get that way. Use every tornado warning as a precaution and seek shelter immediately, because that is the most important thing. While it may not touch down in your area, it may not even touch down at all. Be glad that it doesn't. If a tornado warning is issued, nothing ever happens, and you're just like, well, that was a flunk. Be glad that nothing happened. There's a larger rate of people that just don't seek shelter because they're used to tornado warnings again getting issued and nothing ever happens, and that's not the way we need you to be. We need you folks to really seek shelter when that tornado warning is issued. Same thing goes for severe thunderstorm warnings, because they could produce damaging winds closer to tornado strength at times, especially when you get Severe thunderstorms producing up to 75, 80 mile per hour wind gusts. That's tornado strength. That's EF0 to EF1 tornado strength that can cause damages just as much as a tornado can. But enough of me being on my soapbox here and rambling. Let's see. So yeah, what this thunderstorm is doing is tracking. I wish I could draw straighter lines, but that's going to be tracking into Waterloo and areas west of Cherokee within the next 30 minutes or so. This storm is moving at 45 miles per hour. So what I want to do here is draw a storm track. There we are. So, again, 45 miles per hour. It's going to be a large population that gets affected, so nearly 9,000 to 10,000 different people could be affected. Right now, this is pretty much in northeastern Mississippi. This is going to build north towards Iuka, Cherokee, Waterloo. That's going to be an area that will be a concern, a continued concern, if you will, as this pushes east. So, let's see, this will be... Where's Mingo? I gotta remember things here. See a town that we know closer to home. So Waterloo. This will be within your area by 10 p.m. tonight. So if you have folks that live out there towards Waterloo or Cherokee, expect this tornadic storm to move into your area by 9:55 to 10 p.m. tonight. So that's your storm track. Again, the storm is moving rather slowly, so it could change within the next couple of hours. But 9:55 to 10 p.m. tonight with this supercell that builds northeast into our coverage area once again. I don't want to end the live stream and then go live once again. I want folks to be able to tune into this live stream and be able to stay tuned with it. So what I think I'm going to do here, I don't usually do this, is play some music, and we're going to leave the stream going. When warnings get issued, we can come back. But I do see a question from Serena Mary, and the question is, what about Molten? Alright, so Molten, the storm timing, matter of fact, we're going to pull some models up here very shortly. So bear with me, and we're going to talk about the storm timing. Maybe slightly different from... So we're going to do some math here. We love math, right? Let's see. It's local. So bear with me as I try to pull it up because a lot of this is slow on occasions. Alright. So the official line will begin to move in closer to Molten by... Yeah, I think this is flunked a little bit. Let's just ignore that. Let's see. A lot of these storms are moving about 45 miles per hour. Alright, so that gives us a better idea here on when these storms could be moving in. Again, 45 miles per hour tonight. So about 12 a.m. So 12 a.m. this could be at your corridor in Molten. So folks out there in Lawrence County, specifically in Molten, this will be within your area by 12 a.m. But right now you are in the clear. A tornado watch is in effect until 3 a.m. But please have multiple ways of receiving warnings tonight. And don't sleep over a tornado warning, because I would really hate to hear about somebody that is asleep and not aware of that tornado warning. No problem. Thank you. Alright, so this tornado warning is slowly tracking closer into our coverage area. But I'm going to play some music and see how well this works. I'm just curious because I've not ever done this before. So we're going to play around with a couple of things. I have an idea here. Maybe not. With my luck, we're probably going to get a tornado warning here shortly. That'll probably get issued. So that's fine. Let's see. I cannot find stuff. Alright, there we are. So, again, I'm preparing to kind of go out a little bit to give some time for these storms to move in. Just to give myself a little bit of a breather so I'm not completely stressed out during the, is that actually working? I think that's working. Cool. Alright. Okay, that's kind of honestly really cool. I know you can't hear it just yet. I wonder if I can. Alright. So, again, tornado warning continues for the areas of Boonville, Tupelo area. This is moving into our coverage area. I will be right back when a warning is issued, but we're going to let some music play. I don't know if I can get it on a loop.